Learning objective number 4. Name and describe the general environment's 7 segments. As outlined in Table 2.1, the general environment consists of 7 segments: demographic, economic, political/legal, social-cultural, global, technological, and the physical environment. The challenge is to scan, monitor, forecast, and assess all 6 segments of the general environment, focusing the primary effort on those elements in each segment of the general environment that have the greatest potential impact on the firm. External analysis efforts should focus on segments most important to the firm's strategic competitiveness to identify environmental changes, trends, opportunities, and threats that can be matched with the firm's core competencies so that it can achieve strategic competitiveness and earn above average returns. The demographic segment is concerned with a population size, age structure, geographic distribution, ethnic mix, distribution of income. The challenge for analysts and managers is to determine what the changes that have been identified in the demographic characteristics or elements of the population may imply for the future strategic competitiveness of the firm. Population size. Though population size itself may be important to firms that require a critical mass of potential customers, changes in the specific makeup of a population size may have even more critical implications. One of the most important changes in a population size is changes in a nation's birth rate and or family size, as well as demographic changes in the population of developed versus developing countries. Age structure. Changes in a nation's birth rate or life expectancy can have important implications for firms. Are people living longer? What is the life expectancy of infants? These will impact the healthcare system and firms serving that segment and the development of products and services targeted to an older or younger population. Geographic distribution. Population shifts, as have occurred in the U.S., from one region of a nation to another or from metropolitan to non-metropolitan areas may have an impact on a firm's strategic competitiveness. Issues that should be considered include the attractiveness of a firm's location may be influenced by governmental support, and a shrinking population may imply a shrinking tax base and a lesser availability of official financial support. Firms may have to consider relocation if tax demands require it. And 3, advances in communication technology will have a profound effect on geographic distribution and the workforce. Ethnic mix. This reflects the changes in the ethnic makeup of a population and has implications both for a firm's potential customers and for the workforce. Issues that should be addressed include 1. Will new products and services be demanded or can existing ones be modified? 2. How will changes in the ethnicity of a population affect the composition of the workforce? 3. Are managers prepared to manage a more culturally diverse workforce? And lastly, how can the firm position itself to take the advantage of increased workforce likeness? Income distribution. Changes in income distribution are important because changes in the levels of individual and group purchasing power and discretionary income often result in changes in spending and saving patterns. Tracking, forecasting, and assessing changes in income patterns may identify new opportunities for the firms. The economic segment of the general environment refers to the nature and direction of the economy in which the firm competes or may compete. Analysts must scan, monitor, forecast, and assess a number of key economic indicators or elements, including levels and trends of inflation rates and interest rates, trade deficits and surpluses, budget deficits and surpluses, personal savings rates, business saving rates, gross domestic product, currency valuation, unemployment rates, and energy and commodity prices. In addition, the implications of changes and trends in the economic segment may affect the political legal segment both domestically and in other global markets. This may be of critical importance as nations eliminate or reduce trade barriers and integrate their economies. The political or legal segment is the arena in which organizations and interest groups compete for attention, resources, and a voice in overseeing the body of laws and regulations guiding the interactions among nations as well as between firms and various local government agencies. In other words, this segment is concerned with how interest groups and organizations attempt to influence representatives of governments and how they, in turn, are influenced by them. This segment is also concerned with the outcomes of legal proceedings in which the courts interpret the various laws and regulations. Because of the influence that this segment can have on the nature of competition as well as on the overall profitability of industries and individual firms, analysts must assess changes and trends in administration philosophies regarding antitrust regulations and enforcement, tax laws, industry deregulation, labor training laws, commitments to education, and free trade versus protectionism. The social cultural segment is concerned with different societies, social attitudes, and cultural values. This segment is important because the attitudes and values of society influence and thus are reflected in changes in a society's economic, demographic, and political, legal, and technological segments. Analysts are especially cautioned to pay attention to social cultural changes and effects that they may have on 1. Workforce composition and the implications for managing resulting from an increase in the number of women, increased ethnicity, as well as cultural diversity. 2. Changes in attitudes about the growing number of contingency workers. 3. Shifts in population towards suburban life and resulting transportation issues. And lastly, shifts in work and career preferences, including a trend to work from home made possible by technology advances. As noted in many of the other segments of the general environment, and as discussed in Chapter 1 as a key driver of the new competitive landscape, technological changes can have broad effects on society. The technological segment includes institutions and activities involved with creating new knowledge and translating that knowledge into new outputs, products, processes, and materials. Firms should pay attention, or careful attention, to the technological segment since early adopters can gain market share and above average returns. Important technology-related issues that might affect a broad variety of firms include increasing plant automation, internet technologies and their application to commerce and data gathering, uses of wireless technology, the physical environment segment. The physical environment segment refers to a potential and actual changes in the physical environment and businesses practices that are intended to positively respond to, and deal with those changes. Ecological, social, economic systems interact to influence what happens in this segment. Global warming, energy consumption, and sustainability are all examples of issues related to the physical environment.